starting the recording. That was an awesome sentence to start the stream on. So yes, so that was episode 500, and we're gonna get into 501 here in just a moment. I'm gonna take a quick bio, Kitty. Okay. So because otherwise it's gonna be too long, and I'm gonna be uncomfortable.
Don't worry about it.
But
I'm going to have to go later.
Other than that, though, we are rolling right into 501, and we'll talk a little bit about the interview and some of that. Yeah. And then we'll also do the regular news and tips and all that good stuff, too. See you in a sec.
Yeah, that was really cool talking to those guys. They're, I know I've said this before, but they love the game, and they play the game a lot, too. And it's really cool to talk to people that are involved with, making the game, creating the game, and hear how stoked they are on what they're able to bring to it. So know that there's a lot of love that goes into the game, and there's a lot of stuff that I know a lot of people want, but can't have everything, sadly. I think that they still kind of have a limited team, so it takes a little while to get things going, but they do love the game. They're awesome. It's really good. Yeah, it was really cool to do. Yeah, do you guys remember? I forgot what podcast it was, but before the game came out, there was a podcast that Musco was on, and I listened to that podcast, to get news about the game when it's coming out and things like that, And then all of a sudden, Musco is actually on the team for SWTOR. And it was like, holy crap, that's really cool that happened. And now look at where he's at. So it was really interesting to watch Musco's career, not only where it's at now, but it take off and happen. And I'm so stoked for the guy. So kind of proud of him. ToroCast, that's what it was.
That's right, ToroCast. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to listen to those. Actually, I think when I used to listen to it, my friend gave me his old iPhone, and I just used that as an iPod. And I didn't even have earphones or earpods or anything like that. And I used to stick it in a pot at work to amplify it so I could hear it while it was playing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. And are you ready to roll into 501 here? Okay. All right.
So are you ready?
Going in 5 here. Hi, and welcome to the OotiniCast. When 500 episodes you reach look as good, you will not. This is episode 501, being recorded on Wednesday, November 13th, 2024. I'm your host, chilling with my co-host, KittyKissz. Hey, Kitty, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Chill. Thanks. I like your Yoda impressions. Very... I didn't think you had it in you, but it's good.
I appreciate that. We just did episode 500. We did it live as the interview with Musco and Keith Koenig, and that was a lot of fun. And we should talk about that. Do you want to go ahead and talk about that right now, and then we'll kind of go into a more normal episode after that?
Yeah.
So it was interesting seeing it back, too, again. I mean, I did see it some again during the editing process. Nothing quite like watching it live with people typing and stuff like that to really
that was kind of cool.
Overthink what's happening on the screen. Hey, Floridan. Yeah, you said I want a new class and I know it can't be done. I know. Actually, we can talk about that. I think when our little episode was done, we still had a couple minutes with them. And they did ask us back, because we asked them what was on their wall of crazy, and they asked us what was on our wall of crazy. It doesn't, because what we say doesn't really matter. I mean, and it's stuff we've talked about before anyway. I too would like a new class in the game. I would love it. It would. I totally get that that there would never be enough time to make a whole new class story, where it goes 1 through 50, but just lock it into the other ones, Yeah. Just hey, you're a smuggler or an agent or you're a knight or you're an inquisitor or whatever, but you have a whole new class. I would love that, especially and specifically, I would like a mastermind class with like pets, a pet class.
Yeah. Oh, right. That's what you said.
That's what I said. And I think you said, Kitty, that you would like some like
cross server queuing. Yeah.
Cross queuing. Yeah.
Around the board, not just PvP, but ops, flashpoints, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I would have liked to.
Yeah. And it was nice of them to ask us, even.
Yeah, it was cool.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun talking with them. And again, it was a lot of effort on Jackie Coe's part to coordinate all this. So again, thank you to her for doing that. Tons of stuff, and because like they're in a test server process too, which is like an extra. Developers are always crazy busy anyway. I mean, you don't have to know much about game development to know that like game developers are just constantly working like super hard. They are like 100% all the time, and yet despite that, test server time is like a step above anyway, and they still managed to squeak us in somewhere. So that was awesome, and we really appreciate that.
It's really good to talk to them because they are stoked on it. They like talking SWTOR, which is cool. It's not like oh crap, we have to go talk about the game. No, they're like, let's talk, baby. And it was interesting because they, when we would ask them questions, they were very, into answering it. Mm-hmm. And then they also wanted to ask us questions, just like we talked about, which is kind of cool because that's things that fans do to each other. You ask questions back and forth. I like this. I like that. What do you think about this? What do you want with that?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really cool. And thanks again, guys. That was really fun. And again, Jackie and Kitty Treats. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to say sorry that Zoom sucks because Zoom kicked me out like 3 or 4 times.
Right. I noticed too, but it might have been more than that briefly. I don't know. But
my computer did not lose connection to the internet at all.
No.
But Zoom, every time we have a meeting with SWTOR, it just dies. I don't get it. But so that's not Kitty Treats' fault in the editing department. That's Zoom's fault.
Yeah, I agree with what Floridan just said. The fact that they're just already talking about the 15-year anniversary means, no plans to slow down or stop or anything like that. Kind of the opposite. It makes sense. And I mean, just the fact that they're willing to, like, if this was if this is an older game, but if it was one that they were just going to like sort of like, let slide into obsolescence or whatever, would they be inviting people to come, from the Mac client, for example? Like, no, of course they wouldn't. And nor would they be planning the 15-year anniversary and stuff like that. Interesting that, so it looks like the ventures seems to be like a big part of their future plans in terms of like stuff that they want to do. Right. Like there's going to be other things too, because we have, like the dynamic encounters now that are on the test server, and there pretty clearly seems to be plans to do that on multiple planets, but even though it's starting on just 2, but there's a lot to those. If you've been on the test server, like there's a lot of dynamic encounters, and it must take a ton of work to, figure out where they can put them and what kinds there can be, and because they're not all just like fight. There's some, bring ones from other things and do other, solve little puzzles and stuff like that. Yeah. There's that fishing one. There's some one with like little pet type critters, all kinds of weird ones, as well as, more typical fighting ones as well. But yeah, it sounded like ventures, and it sounds like they're like there's not even just going to be like maybe one more venture, but eventually like multiple new ventures. And it'll be interesting to see what that is, because right now it's like
not just going to be pets.
Yeah, Musco says it's its own system, it's its own thing. So it'll be interesting to know more as someone on our end who isn't involved with like what they're talking about and with their planning and stuff. Like, what does the next venture look like? How does that let us know exactly what a venture is? Like right now, it's like we have Bessie, so okay, that venture is about your character and taking one character through a whole series. It takes weeks and weeks to accomplish it. And so it has this sort of feel to it, and it's very unique to the game. There's nothing else quite like that in the game, other than maybe achievement hunting, sort of, or Datacron hunting, sort of. But like, there's not a lot of stuff that's like that in the game, where you're taking something and you're just putting it through a whole bunch of weeks, all the way out, and it keeps changing, and like a little bit, and like exactly what you need to do changes and stuff like that. So it's like, what does the next venture look like? How does that let us know what a venture really is? Or like what sort of rewards there might be and stuff like that.
Yeah. How far have you gotten on Bessie?
For a few weeks, I haven't really done much on it, so I'm still around where I was. I'm like 2/3 of the way through, something like that. I've managed to get a decent amount through it, but my mind doesn't work very well when it comes to stuff like that. I keep kind of like, because it's like, it's like you can only do a certain amount a week, and so sometimes I just kind of forget to do it a little bit, and then I'll remember again, and I do it like 3-4 weeks in a row. But then when I miss it 1 week, then I end up missing it 2 or 3 weeks. It's like, it's been very off and on for me.
Well, there's a lot going on in the game,
interesting too. Yeah, and there's a lot to do. Yeah, for sure.
Which is a good thing, a good problem to have in an MMO. I haven't started it. Right. I haven't done well. I'm at the point where I'm supposed to go get Bessie and take her out for training, but I keep forgetting.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting, like you. I'm like, maybe I should do that. And then I go, I don't want to open that can of worms right now.
I do appreciate that, at least like you don't always have to do the whole daily area. So like if you want to, you can just do the 2 missions for Bessie on that one style, and then you're kind of done. Especially for like, there's certain daily areas I just don't like. I don't enjoy doing them. I don't want to see them very much at all.
Iocath.
Yeah. Iocath is not my favorite for sure. Also Section X. I'm not a big Section X fan.
Yeah, it takes a while.
Yeah. There's a couple missions in there that I definitely don't mind doing, and if I'm just going to do it once on a particular day or whatever, then I can just do those and not worry about finishing the weekly. So it's all good.
Yeah.
Floridan says McKeb. Yeah, McKeb's not my favorite either. There's some like bizarre, interesting missions there actually, but long. It's not. Yeah, they tend to be a little long and a little involved sometimes.
Yeah.
That's funny. Cal's saying, as a completionist, doing Dantooine event while doing Bessie and a season on top of it nearly killed me. Yes, that's fortunately my mind does not bend towards completionism, and I think, because I think it would drive me nuts too. I'm
kind of scared of it.
Yeah, I right, exactly, because I almost admire it. Like, I kind of like want to be a completionist, but every time I try to be a completionist, it gets blocked.
You're like, wait, I'm supposed to do Bessie.
It gets blocked, and I don't actually finish it. I have to really, really want something specific, and kind of go after that. That's usually like the closest I get to completionism is when there's like something really interesting, and I'm able to kind of push through so that I can get that one thing. Like I remember when I realized there was a couple of those dies on the bounty hunting event.
The vendor.
The vendor, has a couple of those die.
Expensive.
Dies, and you have to have like 50 of them. And I realized over the whole amount of years that we'd had the event, and I had like 44 of them or something like that. But I was like, I have a thing now, because I'm gonna go do those other. And I did it. Actually, it was more than 6, but I had to do like 12 or something like that. And so it took a little days, and I did it on different characters and stuff like that. Right. But I was able to get that recipe. And there's another recipe, and I've sort of been working towards it, but it's not the same thing. I'm just not enough of a completionist. But I got that one die recipe that I wanted.
What recipe?
It was the pink and white one, I believe.
The pink and white, I got that one, and I got
a really nice
I got
one.
the other one.
It's
we got that
surprisingly
for,
useful and for cosplay purposes, actually.
yeah, there was an event that we were doing for the Logans, and I unlocked that so I could make dyes for everybody so we could color coordinate our outfits. I forgot which. I think it was a Valentine's Day event thing, but
Yeah.
that one, that hurt. I remember I was like, oh, I gotta go knock out a couple of these missions. And then it went to 0 and I went, oh, because just like what you were saying, I had, when the Bounty Hunter event first happened, I hit it hard on multiple characters every day for the event. So I had unlocked a bunch of stuff from the vendors and got a bunch of stuff that I wanted, and then forgot about it for several years. And then again, saw something that I wanted. I'm like,
Run. Yeah, exactly.
That's a good problem to have in an MMO.
Yeah. But yeah, it was fun talking with them about, sort of like the future and, what the sort of things that they're working, in general, they're working on. Obviously they can only be so specific when they're not announcing things, so which hopefully with any luck, we'll get some interesting and juicy stuff tomorrow. And then we'll be able to talk about that on the next episode. Do you want to roll into like the regular type show now? Or is there anything else you want to say about the interview real quick?
Yeah, one thing about the interview is that we recorded this a while back. Well, not too long ago, which...
Less than a week, but yeah.
Yeah, but every time you talk to the devs, it sparks more questions. But for you guys, you're going to watch it, get those questions sparked, and then tomorrow, you're going to get another one. So... yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be great.
Yeah, it was funny watching the part back where we mentioned there was going to be a dev a dev live stream. And they said, yeah, it's coming up pretty soon. Turns out it's like coming out the day after we put this out. But hey, it's all good. These things happen that way. Yeah. All right. So so what have you been up to in game, Kitty?
Well, I finished my Qui-Gon Wild tune.
Nice.
I went through the entire story, all the way to the end, so I can use that character when any new content comes out, which is good.
Cool.
It was really fun. I had a lot of fun playing that character.
Was he a saboteur? Because he like.
No, he was a.
Oh, that's right. He was an Empire side character, wasn't he?
Sentinel / Shadow.
Okay, and story-wise, was he a warrior or what was he?
No, I played him on the light side, didn't I?
I thought you were light side, then went dark side because of the whole.
Yeah. I started him off light side, but I don't remember what story class it was. I'm pretty sure it was Jedi Knight. Okay,
and then. Okay, so when it came to like, was he a saboteur or was he helping out the Republic at the end?
No, I thought about it, like what would Qui-Gon do, down the line, especially Qui-Gon Wild. And I don't think he would go light side or dark side. I think he would stay independent. So he didn't choose a side. He's staying independent. Okay. Which is good because a lot of my tunes I choose either or. So I definitely want to have characters that
are more
that stay independent, so that if something happens later on in upcoming story, I got a character that can do all that stuff.
Nice.
But yeah, he's I put him down. I stripped him of his implants and his tacticals, threw those back in the old legacy bay for another character. Took his money and put it in back into the legacy bay. And then I started a new character.
There you go.
Which is an agent. And I'm playing, what is it? The sniper, but I'm playing the dots back.
So like the lethality or whatever it's called.
No, not the sniper. I'm playing the
operative.
The operative, yeah. And I've been going back and forth between. Wait, am I? I'm confused now.
It's all good.
It doesn't matter. I'm having a lot of fun.
Nice.
Stealthing here and there.
McWhiskers, so is that the Cathar?
Yeah, it's the Cathar. Okay. She lethality, and then I'm playing the sniper, but the dot spec on the sniper, which is really fun.
Virulence, I believe.
Her name is QT McWhiskers.
Nice.
And I'm playing her as she's a patriot. She's very imperial.
Okay.
But then, of course, as things start going, in that story, no spoilers.
Right.
There's some things that she's going to change her mind. I'm romancing Bug Boy, which is one of the best romances in the game, I feel. And we're playing around that, I think she's really going to fall for Bug Boy. And then when that separates and stuff, I think she's going to go with the old Darth Bane. Or no, wait, that's not Darth Bane. What's his name?
I'm not sure where you're
Bald.
Malgus?
Malgus, Darth Malgus, where, if you have loved ones, they're basically a weakness.
Ah, okay.
And go really, kind of that way. And we'll see what happens. But yeah, she's really fun. I love the agent story. It's
it's a fun story.
Very fun. And it seems like every time I watch it, I find stuff that I've missed.
Yeah, because because the choices are very different. I agree. Like they can be wildly it's always the same. Like there's always going to be like sort of the thrust of the story is going to be the same. It's all the details that change.
Right.
But if you're a Jedi, like you can be dark side, you can be light side, but there's only so different it can be. But if you're being like an agent and you're being like a kind of like a undercover type, like it really does change how things go. Anyway, at least I've always felt that. So
yeah, it's fun, and I'm dressing everybody up in the Stormtrooper outfit. I forget what it's called. It looks like there's blood on it.
Yeah.
So everybody's got that.
That's kind of right. If you can, well, I think it starts as like white and blue, but yeah, everyone seems to like to dye it so that it looks like blood spatter.
Yeah. Well, I just throw in whatever dye for whatever character.
Right.
So I think the one of the vendors on Fleet sells a white and red, and it looks like
it looks good on a lot of stuff.
Stormtrooper got sprayed by blood, which is pretty cool. It's all right. It's good. I'm having fun with her. Let's see what else. Finished the test server missions for the mounts.
Okay.
Hoth and Tatooine. I haven't done the boss fight yet.
Nice.
I'd like to, but I usually kind of wait a little while on this because I don't want to go in there and spend 3 hours trying to kill a boss with however many million health and the mechanics not working. I can't do that. I can barely sit still for a duration of a podcast, let alone try and kill something that is going to take a long time. So,
right.
But it's been fun. I'm stoked on the test center. I can't wait for it to go live. Hopefully, fingers crossed, tomorrow we'll get a tentative date of when it's going to happen. It's going to be fun. And if you guys have not started the test center, you should go on because they're giving away 2 of the Kaizyken mounts.
Right.
And
they haven't been available since the last big test. So
it's awesome.
Like it's been a while. So it's been and there's also some like new titles and stuff as well. And they're doing pets. I think a couple of pets, isn't it? They've got the one pet, the Andor pet. Yeah,
the 2 logs.
The sort of Andor based droid pet. That's
super sad.
That'll be a lot of fun. Yeah.
But go to SWTOR.com and they have a link to the PTS and it tells you what you need to do in order to get those things. Get on it because those are some really, really good mounts that are incredibly rare.
Yeah.
And I just would like to thank Jackie, Musco, and Keith for talking to us. You guys are fantastic. And,
absolutely.
Many mahalos. Now to you, Chill.
All right. Well, thanks to everyone in the chat room. We actually have so many. I don't think I'm going to go through it all today, but yeah, thank you to everyone who's showing up to watch the interview. If you or someone you know who would enjoy it have missed any part of it, we're going to be putting it up on YouTube later tonight. It'll also come out as a regular OotiniCast podcast, audio podcast as well. And then 501 will also be coming up. It will also go up on YouTube. It will also come out as a regular podcast, audio podcast as well. As usual, that the audio podcast, both 500 and 501, will be out tomorrow. So I did some test server stuff. I'm actually done with all the achievements on Republic side, Hoth and Tatooine both. Still have more to do on the Empire side. I have a couple more on Hoth. I think I'm like at 21 or something like that. And then I quite have a bit more on Tatooine though. So a fair bit more, but I should be able to get that done. Maybe I'll have to make it a stream thing I do on stream, because it feels like I was going to do it like off stream, and then I just haven't been doing it off stream. It's kind of been stuck for a while. So I should probably just do it on stream and just get it done. I did do one of the PTS boss fights. I unfortunately missed it last Friday. It was completely my fault. But anyway, I listed it on the Discord, and the balance changes seem to make it almost doable for them, which is pretty cool. Like they were really getting close to being done with it. So I'm hoping to get in on it Friday, for the Jar Jar Joyride. And so I'm looking forward to that. And so, yeah, other than that, I've been leveling my Ripley cosplay from Aliens. She's as a Trooper Commando healer. I'm actually pretty happy with the cosplay. It's reasonably accurate. I have also done up Eric Jorgen as Hicks, which is really fun. I didn't realize that there is actually a Trooper armor that had the Hicks look, which is heavy armor on the chest and then bare arms. I didn't think there was anything like that in the game, and it turns out there is.
That's cool.
Yeah, the reason that I didn't realize it is because the gloves actually go up past the elbow, and you can't really tell. But if you take off those gloves, all of a sudden you realize, oh, okay, it's just chest protection with bare arms, and that's perfect for Hicks, because that's the look he has in throughout most of the movie. I do have a helmet which looks like the one he has in the movie, but he doesn't wear most of the movie, so I just kind of keep it off most of the time. But he does have a helmet as well, and I'm pretty happy with the guns too. So
yeah, there's a gun that looks a lot like the pulse rifle.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little bit better for him. I tried getting away with it using a rifle, but with the commando, you really do need the assault cannon. Too many of the abilities get turned off if you try to go with a rifle. So I had to go back. But I found actually it turns out it's this season. It actually helped me twice. This galactic season that we're in right now actually helped me twice, because the assault cannon actually looks a lot like the pulse rifle from Aliens. It almost looks like if you took. It looks like it could be like made by the same company, but like a slightly different model. Like it really does look a lot like it. It's really cool. So I actually use that. And also Ripley like holds her rifle really low a lot. So it actually looks a lot like an assault cannon the way she holds it in the movie. So it actually is working out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with that. The other thing that worked out cosplay wise is that one of the outfits has like these pants that are sort of like very simple and puffy, and when you put it on and with like one of the basic shirts in the game, it really does look like a jumpsuit, and it looks like I've got her in the jumpsuit outfit she wears in that movie. I'm really happy with it. So yeah, it's really fun. And I have like a little gross white worm-like pet as sort of like the baby alien following her around.
It's funny. So
it's been a lot of fun. And so what I've been doing for this one is, and I don't level a lot of healers, but what I did for this one is, so Eric is Hicks. He's doing most of the damage, and she does fight. She's not a pacifist. She does, fight, but she's sort of limited in the damage she can do, and then she's healing. Mm-hmm. And but the other thing I'm doing differently is that I'm actually. For a while, I actually turned off my extra XP gains and stuff like that to force myself to do it. I'm actually doing all the side missions and all the world arcs.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a completionist like we were talking about earlier. Like if there's a mission that's like way out in the wilderness that I don't forgot about, I'm not like looking at guides to figure out where they are or anything. Mm-hmm. But all the missions that I'm actually coming across, I'm actually doing, completing, making sure I'll get all the bonuses, all that stuff. And finally, even doing that, even with the XP buffs off, I was like up like 8 levels over over the planet I was on, and that was like on Terrace. That was like super early because she's on Republic side as a trooper, and so now I am using XP boost because it's like, why not? So she's only on like Hoth, and she's like level 50. Was it? 57, yeah, like on Hoth, like crazy, way over leveled. I'm not doing heroics. I don't really need the gear. I'm way over leveled, and I've also seen the heroics, like just doing dailies and stuff. So I didn't need to see those again. But all these other little side missions, I just have some of them I can barely remember, and I think there's some that I've just have never seen before, and it's really fun to see them. And it's also fun to like get the mail, about these old missions, and like they follow up and stuff like that. And it's like, because the trooper story ones, I've seen the follow-ups again recently, but these little side missions, no, I haven't seen them forever. And it's kind of fun to see like, oh, thank you for rescuing me, and or whatever, and blah blah blah. And yeah, good stuff. And I'm probably going to do the same thing on the Empire side. I have no idea what cosplay it'll be, or I haven't thought about that yet. But I'm going to take her all the way through the class story. I'll be curious to see like if she's already 80 by the time she finishes Corellia. It should actually be pretty close. If she's not, then what I might do is go back, like find a guide to make sure I don't miss planets that have them, but go back and do those like follow-up stories that they have on certain planets, like Tatooine and Terrace and a few others have them. I'll have to
bonus missions.
The bonus mission series. I'm gonna have to figure out, because it's been so long, and I never go back to those and do those. Like some of those might literally be the first times I've seen some of them. So,
do you have that flow chart?
Yes, I know about the flow chart.
Yeah, because that'll tell you exactly where
that'll have the bonus ones
start.
Good. I might do that. If I don't do it on her, I'll probably do it on someone else relatively soon. They're
fun.
It's been interesting. It's also been interesting because like I thought, okay, I'm leveling a spec that I'm not particularly good at, nor do I particularly enjoy healing necessarily. It's not out of the 3 styles. It's like my least. I'm not suited towards it.
Is it really busy?
No, but the thing is, because I'm doing so many little side missions and seeing all this cool stuff, like it's making me like the character like way more than like certain other cosplays that I've done recently, just because I'm spending so much time on her and doing all these little side things.
It's cool because it makes the planets feel more full.
Yeah,
it fills it out, makes it feel
more alive. And
you're just there for one story, and then you're gone.
Yep.
And you've done that story so many times.
Yeah.
You're not going to be there very long.
Exactly.
But that's fun.
Yeah, when even Quesh takes like 2.5 hours.
Quesh.
Normally, like some of the stories are so short. It's like you can be done with Quesh in like 10 minutes.
And the majority of the time's traveling.
Yeah, and then the full planets are like at minimum 4 hours. Like it takes a long time, but so I'm taking it takes a long time to do it. But I'm really enjoying it. I'm getting to know the spec like way better than I ever did before, which is kind of cool because I could not have told you other than that, knowing that like I knew a few things that it had, I remembered a few things, but like. Yeah, I couldn't have told you very much in detail about this spec, and so now I'm really learning it, and that's kind of cool. Anyway, let's see. So anything else? Yeah, I think that's about good. Let's go to the tip of the week. I had one tip that kind of came up during my stream. Someone was having problems. They were letting me know in chat, and I was able to help him figure it out. So what was happening is he was trying to figure out how many he needed for the bonus and stuff, and he was hovering over the enemies, and it just wasn't telling him like how many he needed left or whether they counted towards the mission or whatever. It turns out that there's a setting for that. So, and it had gotten turned off for him. I don't know if he had done it by accident. He didn't know either, or if it just somehow happened and who knows how it happened sort of thing. But it did happen, and he had to turn it back on. Once he turned it back on, then he was able to see, on the tooltips again, what was going on. So if that ever happens to you, if it's like all of a sudden it's like, how the heck am I supposed to tell like what enemies are going towards my missions, what ones aren't, and how many, and the tooltip information for that has gone away. It is an option. It's under Preferences, User Interface, and then there's under user interface, there's different sections, and it's tooltip, and it's called show personal mission progress. And personally, I would never ever turn this off. To me, it's almost insane that it can be turned off. Like, why would you ever want this turned off? I don't know. Like, because the tooltip is still there, but it'll just show you like the name of the enemy and the level and stuff like that, and a couple other basic information. But turning it off is insane to me, but it is an option. And if it somehow gets turned off, that's how you turn it back on. So preferences, user interface. Under the user interface, the section called tooltip, and it's called show personal mission progress. And it's just one of those little click on, click off buttons. There you go. There's your tip of the week. I don't know if
mine's in there. I got to check it out. That's awesome.
Okay. Did you have a tip then?
I don't. No.
Okay, that's fine. If you have a tip, send it to OotiniCast@gmail.com before the next show. You can win a Tonfon or M83R or M2B9 droid code and a 450cc code, all courtesy of Broadsword. And that'll bring us to the Mind Trap. So for the Mind Trap, we asked, I just wanted sort of a general question, like for the 500th episode, get back to basics, see what people are doing in the game. And so we simply asked, how do you play your characters on SWTOR? One main only, main but with some alts, mains and alts, or what's a main, alts only. And so we had a pretty good amount of votes for this, and thank you to everyone who voted and who reposted and all that good stuff. And the one that won was also the one I did, mains and alts, and that's exactly how I play. Even before I was streaming, like in the first couple of years of SWTOR, I wasn't really streaming, but we were just doing the podcast. I would have some mains, but I was always leveling new alts and seeing new story. But there was always a few mains too. Like I always had characters that like I try to make sure are completely caught up with the story, or have the best gear available and stuff like that. Those are my mains, and then everyone else is an alt, and I do have both all the time. Mains and alts had 50% of the vote. How about you, Kitty?
Mains and alts.
Mains and alts for you? Okay, so you're in the 50% with me. Second place was main, but with some alts at 27.6%. So some people have a main, and then they just have a few alts to maybe see other stories or whatever, but they're mostly a main person. Third place, just squeaking out of the fourth place, was what's a main, alts only. That's 11.5%. So some people are just always alting, never a main to be found, and that's perfectly valid too, of course. It's actually not that different from what I do. Like if all I would have to do is just let my main slip a little bit, and I'd be right there with you. And then just behind 11.5%, just behind it at 11% is one main only at 11%. And so some people are still doing the one main only thing. And I get that too, It's either like because you fall in love with a character and you want to be connected to that character, or it's a time thing, or whatever it is. It definitely makes sense for some people, so it's all good. Yeah, Alt-Alex or behold my alts, exactly. Yeah. I actually do that sometimes because they're all cosplays at this point. So sometimes like I'll go through on the stream and say, oh, there's my Joker cosplay, and there's my Harley cosplay, and there's my Wonder Woman, and all that. That's funny. I just named 3 DC characters, but and yet I have like twice as many Marvel ones. And then I have some random ones too that are neither. Anyway, doesn't matter. It's all good. And thanks to the folks who also responded to the Mind Trap. Marcus was really nice. He said he's incredibly proud and excited for you to get to episode 500. He's all the success in the world. You kept me involved in the show and the SWTOR community since day one when I started listening to your show. And cheers to 500. So thank you, Marcus.
Thanks, Marcus.
And there's some other folks too. We really appreciate it.
Thanks to everybody.
Yep. And
very sweet.
Yeah, so yeah, lots of folks doing roughly what we do. Sort of have a few mains, but you have a lot of alts too. All right, let's see.
Maybe not as many alts as you, Chill, but how many are you up to now?
I have 90 characters on Satil Shan, and I have about 30 on Starforge, and then I have a few on all the others. I don't have very many on the others because I only do enough to do the seasons. So I basically have like unfortunately, I couldn't keep it to just 4, but basically the idea is to have 4 characters. And that way, if they say, do a trooper, do a trooper or agent, or do a knight or a warrior, all that stuff, I have that covered. And I do, but then I made some bad choices and I ended up like not getting those categories just right and blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. So I have like 5 on all the other servers pretty much.
Behold my alts.
Yeah, behold my alts, exactly. Right. Yeah. And actually I think I think Ripley is actually it's been a really fun cosplay to do. Especially as a healer, because like in the movie, she's like, she does fight, she shoots the gun, she especially in the egg scene, she's like chucking those grenades everywhere. But she's sort of like a support person, like she's just trying to pull everyone's fat out of the fire half the time. And so it feels like kind of appropriate for her to be a healer. Anyway, yeah.
It's funny now that I think about it, because my main is Ripley. That's my main character that I made a decade ago. She's one of my favorite characters in fiction.
And Stars asked, do I keep my legacy family tree updated? You know what, Inasar, back in the day I did, and then they changed it and sort of like wiped it at one point. It was maybe during the server mergers or some other weird time like that. And I really never got back to it. Like I was pretty good about like actually doing those, because especially since I wasn't doing cosplays early on, I actually did have a lot of characters that I considered to be related or friendly with or whatever other characters of mine. And so I actually did do all that family tree stuff. And then at some point it got wiped, and you were supposed to like I guess I would, you could restart it. I did a couple of them, and I was like, Plus I was doing like all these cosplays which mostly weren't connected. Like, I mean, I guess you could do like some cosplays that would be connected. You could do Joker and Harley, for example, but yeah, most of mine are like completely, unconnected to each other. So yeah, no, I don't do that anymore. It's fun though. And actually for some people, I'm sure that's like a really like cool way to like keep track of where all your characters are and like their relations to each other. I really like that feature of the game, but I've sort of moved away from it, partly because of the reset and partly because of the cosplay thing.
Well, even back when it first started, both of us didn't have that many alts. So it was kind of
It was a little easier too, yeah.
And then the wipe happened, and then it's like, I don't remember any of that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But I remember when that came out, it was really cool. I was like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, I like that feature, yeah. All right. So, yeah, once again, the OotiniCast 500 interview with Eric Musco and Keith Koenig is out. We're calling that the first bit of the news. So, and that will be up on YouTube. So if anyone wants to see it, or they know someone who wants to see it who weren't able to see it live on our Twitch stream, it will be up on YouTube later tonight. And then the audio version will be out tomorrow. And thanks again to everyone involved. Right. So in-game events, first of all, the bounty hunter, they never put this on I noticed that ever since they, like for this galactic season, the bounty hunter event is always ongoing. So they don't put it on these little monthly things. I think they should, but they don't. Anyway, so the bounty hunter event is ongoing. It's part of the galactic season. It's going on every week, and it'll go in, which means another 96 days as of this recording. So that's basically 3 months more into February. So we have bounty hunting to do every week until then. So that's part of it. But the actual
those recipes,
things and then also the start of the month happened between this and the last episode. So there was a pirate incursion around the change of the month, but that's no longer germane. There is one more upcoming event for November, and that's going to be Swoop Racing, and that's going to be from November 26th to December 2nd, and you need to be level 20, and there's several planets that it happens on. You can go to all of them, and you do the little races, and there's different like swoop gangs essentially that you can get different reputations with, and have different armor sets and different mounts and titles and pets and all that good stuff. And then they did put up the galactic season objectives through the first week of January 2025. So now we know what things are going to be right up through the beginning of next year. We've already decided like it's too much detail and it's not really good. Doesn't make good audio podcast for sure. So if you want to know about it, it's on SWTOR.com. It's one of the first news articles right now, so you can pretty much find it right away. We also do always copy it into our show notes if you have access to that through our Patreon. So there is that way as well. And yeah, so it's, if you want to know, and if I'm almost okay with just rolling in and letting myself be surprised on Tuesday.
Yeah, I
don't necessarily I can't imagine doing a lot of planning for like the next weeks or whatever. But, maybe there's weeks where you're busy and weeks where you're not, and you want to try to, plan things out so that you can do things where Galactic Seasons is more appropriate to your playstyle, in which case you can do that. Pretty cool. All right. Let's see. There's a lot of stuff about the test server on the boards going on right now. It's all fairly basic stuff. People, mentioning bugs that they found and stuff like that. The devs asking for bug announcements and stuff like that. So not too much going on. We're going to hopefully hear more about that about tomorrow, which is like the last little bit of news. The dev stream is coming tomorrow, November 14th. So this is Thursday. And really looking forward to see what else they have, because the test server's been out a while, so there's clearly other stuff for them to announce. So I'll be interested in seeing what that includes.
Yeah, me too.
And so we'll be as usual. We'll watch it live. I'm actually, it's be nice if it wasn't the day after our show, because now it's going to be 2 weeks until we can talk about it. But they don't design it around our schedule, and that's fine.
They don't.
And although we've also had it the other way, where like they do it the day before, and that's its own set of problems too. Because like if it's the day before, like first of all, that makes it one busy day, because like we've got to figure out all the news and then go over everything and then try to figure, and then, but also like sometimes when there's a dev stream, like right after that, there's updates to the dev stream because they realize, oh, we need to clarify this because, or we actually made a slight error and we need to correct it or whatever. So sometimes in the days after the dev stream, there's, extra news that sort of gets settled out. So it'll all be settled out by next episode for sure. But we're really looking forward to seeing it live tomorrow. Right, Kitty. Is there anything else before we start doing the outro and giving out some codes?
Negative.
Okay.
I'm ready to eat dinner.
I'll bet. I'm getting pretty hungry myself. All right, then. That's a show. If you'd like to play with us in the Ootini Knights Guild on the Republic side of the Satil Shan server or in our
Ootini Rage
Guild on the Empire side, do a /C join Ootini to join the Ootini channel and let us know you're a fan of the show. You can email questions and comments about the show to OotiniCast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter using @OotiniCast or Mastodon @OotiniCast@mastodon.world. You can find contact details on our website, OotiniCast.com, which includes how to subscribe to us using iTunes and the rest. We record the show live bi-weekly, Wednesdays, 4 p.m. Pacific, by streaming at twitch.tv/OotiniCast. Our theme song is Doomsday by Jean-Paul Zogby. And thank you to the chat room.
Thanks, chat. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be giving away some codes.
All right. And yes, and we'll do a little raid arena, but let me get over to the prize codes thing here. So first of all, we do still have some jetpack codes. If someone doesn't have a jetpack code, we can give one out to anyone who we should have enough that we can actually give them out to pretty much anyone who needs one. So let me know if you need a jetpack code. Pretty much the only way I can do it is by whispering.
Hey, thanks, Industar.
If you want to,
thanks,
if you want a jetpack code, if you want to, let me know now. And if not, we also have some other type of codes, so we can also talk about those. Let's see, we do have some Volptilla pet codes. So if you don't have the Volptilla pet, let me know. Okay, I guess a lot of the times people either they're from other podcasts who have access to the codes, or they've already gotten the code. But hey, it's all good.
Anybody need the jetpack?
Yep. And we also have CC
when
codes.
it
So if you
says
just want some
something.
CCs, just let me know. I can hook you up with some
Yeah.
CCs as well.
Cartel coins.
Yeah.
Such a modest bunch.
Sure, Cormac. Yep. Let me get to the code here. We can do the Volptilla code. We'll keep the other ones for like the thing, the thing that we talk about. So let me go ahead and do that. And if for any reason there's a problem with the code, of course, just follow up with me.
Squishy Twitchies in for some CC.
And let me update my little code spreadsheet.
Code updated.
Okay. Oops. Hang on a second. I hate when that happens.
People left already.
Yeah. Go ahead and whisper it here. The greedy people left. Yeah, exactly. Give me all the codes. Give me all your coding. All your CCs and pets too.
Starry Saber.
All right, Starry. Great. Let me get to the jetpack one. We have like little sections here.
You know you want it.
And again, like, I do my very, very best to keep the... let's see.
Gimme.
Okay. To keep the spreadsheet updated. But if for some reason I give you one that's not working, just let me know. Let me give Katie Tree some codes, some CC codes. She actually, let's see, let me find. Sometimes it's hard because they get very spread out. Like this is this is not a very, if I was like
get
any
a
kind
code.
of,
you get a code. You get a code.
Yeah, exactly. If I was any kind of, like, I don't know.
Carnival barker?
Yeah, practically am. No, like if I was the opposite. If I was like an auditor or something like that, I'd be like appalled at this
of your
code spreadsheet for sure.
I was lucky enough that Kitty came and saved mine.
Yeah, exactly. And Oman, did you want one? It says gimme, but did you say which one? Let me see.
Hola. Oman, you want some CCs?
Let's see.
I do want some CCs.
I can give you some CCs. Here we go. All right, let me get a code for you then. And you get a code, speaking of Oprah, and you get a code. And you
if you guys look under your gaming chairs, you're going to find...
All right. Yeah. All right. Yes. So there we go. Yeah. So thank you, everyone. It was a lot of fun to do the interview. And yeah, is there anything else to say about that? I guess we should just find some folks to go do a little Raiderino on.
Yeah. Well, thank you, everybody. Thanks for being here. Thanks for all the support. And have a good one.
All right. Is there anyone we should raid then, Kitty?
Let's get some, let me see. Let's get someone that has like a low count.
Okay. Well, Smokey was in the channel earlier. He's on.
Yeah, he's got a whole bunch of people.
I get what you're saying.
It's just, I mean, you do whatever you want.
All right.
I was just thinking it. I've been I can't see live channels. Oh wait, Exes is on.
Okay.
She's doing
Exis. Oh, I see her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. She's definitely friendly. We will get this raid going. Thank you for everyone for coming. And
bye, you guys.
Should be able to go here in just a sec. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and thanks again. Bye-bye. Here we
Doodles.
go. Okay, and go ahead and stopping the stream, stopping the recording.